You really think this little lakeside celebration changes anything? After everything we've done to prop you up, you're still playing the victim card like always. Face it, Sophia. Without us, you'd be nothing, and now you're trying to act like you built this all on your own. Pathetic. Hi, my name is Sophia Reynolds. I am 32 years old. The words from my best friend Megan Walsh cut through the crisp North Dakota air like a winter blade as I stood on the wide deck of the opulent lakeside manor where I had planned what was supposed to be my perfect milestone party. I had rented the sprawling property overlooking the calm waters for the evening to celebrate closing my biggest consulting contract, yet a deal that would finally let me expand my small business into something sustainable after years of grinding. My boyfriend Derek had been there every step or so, I thought, nodding along with encouragement, while Megan organized the guest list and decorations. But in that moment, with the string lights twinkling overhead, and the faint sound of guests mingling inside her sarcasm dripped with something far uglier than friendly teasing, I forced a tight smile, my stomach twisting into knots, but I didn't snap back right away. The betrayal felt too sudden, too personal to process in front of everyone. Megan had been my ride or die since college, the one who listened to my late-night vents about family pressures and work stress. Derek, my boyfriend of 3 years, had proposed just months ago in this very region during a quiet getaway. Yet here they were cornering me near the railing, as the party hummed on, their voices low but laced with that biting contempt. "Wow, Megan, tell me how you really feel." I shot back, my tone dripping with the sarcasm that had become my shield lately. "Since when does supporting a friend mean reminding her she's nothing without you too? That's a new low even for you." She rolled her eyes, crossing her arms over her designer coat that I had helped pay for during her last rough patch. Derek just stood there, avoiding my gaze, his hand fidgeting with the edge of his sleeve. The core conflict hit me, then sharp and unforgiving. These two people I trusted most saw me as their personal safety net, not an equal. They had been subtly undermining my independence for months, pushing me to prioritize their needs over my own growing success. My consulting firm in Fargo had taken off, but every win seemed to come with their expectations attached, like I owed them a cut of the spotlight and the resources. The party continued inside the manor, with its high ceilings and views of the frozen lake edge, but the tension on the deck lingered like smoke. I excused myself to check on the caterers, my mind racing. How had things gotten this twisted? A few weeks earlier, everything had seemed solid. I had confided in Megan about a stressful client negotiation, and she had offered to help by reviewing contracts, which somehow led to her inserting herself into my business communications. Derek had been supportive on the surface, but now I wondered if their late-night talks were more than just catching up. Mini cliffhanger moment. As I stepped back inside, I overheard Megan on her phone in a side hallway, her voice hushed but clear. "Yeah, the papers are ready. Once she signs over that share for the joint venture, we'll finally have what we need. Don't worry, she won't suspect a thing until it's too late." My blood ran cold. What papers? What joint venture? I pulled Derek aside later that evening as guests started to leave, the manor lights reflecting off the dark water. "What was that about on the deck? And don't lie to me, Derek. I heard her on the call." He shifted uncomfortably, running a hand through his hair. "Sophia, it's not what you think. Megan and I just want what's best for all of us. You've been so focused on your work, you forgot who got you here." The sarcasm bubbled up again. "All right, because propping up your stalled projects and covering your rent when things got tight was my job? Tell me, boyfriend, when did my success become your entitlement?" He winced, but didn't deny it. The party wound down, but the unease followed me home that night to my modest apartment in Fargo. I barely slept, replaying their words. The next morning, I met with my colleague Alex Thompson, a sharp new hire at my firm, who had become a trusted sounding board. He listened as I recounted the deck confrontation, his expression turning serious. Sophia, that sounds like classic sabotage. I've seen it before in business circles here. You might want to check your contracts. His words hung heavy, another layer of doubt creeping in. Another mini cliffhanger. Later that day, as I reviewed documents at the manor office, I had temporarily set up for the event cleanup. A new supporting figure arrived. Rachel Klein, a local event witness who had helped coordinate and overheard snippets from the night before. She handed me a printed transcript of what she had noted from Megan's call. I thought you should see this. It didn't sit right with me. The transcript revealed Megan and Derek discussing how to leverage my recent business milestone to force a partnership agreement that would give them controlling interest in my client list and profits. It felt like a slap, the kind that leaves you questioning every shared memory. My best friend and boyfriend weren't just unsupportive. They were actively plotting to diminish my autonomy under the guise of friendship and love. I confronted Megan over coffee the following afternoon at a quiet downtown spot, my voice steady but bitter. So, the big plan was to blindside me with legal papers at my own celebration. After all the times I bailed you out, she laughed coldly, that familiar sarcasm mirroring my own. Please, Sophia. You've always been the dramatic one. We're family and everything but blood. Sign it and we all win. Refuse and watch how quickly your reputation in this town crumbles. People talk, you know. The public gossip angle started small but escalated fast. Within days, whispers spread through our shared social circle in Fargo about how I was ungrateful and cutting out those who built me up. Derek texted me vague apologies mixed with pressure. The tension built like a storm over the lake, every interaction laced with hidden contempt. I felt the isolation creeping in, but a defiant spark ignited too. No more playing the supportive role while they drained me. The coffee shop confrontation with Megan left a bitter taste that no amount of caffeine could wash away. I sat there staring at her across the small table, my hands gripping the warm mug a little too tightly, while she leaned back with that smug, knowing smile that used to feel like solidarity. You've got some nerve calling me dramatic when you're the one scheming behind my back with Derek? I said, my voice low, but edged with sarcasm. What exactly do you think my clients would say if they knew my so-called best friend was trying to muscle in on my contracts? Megan shrugged, stirring her drink slowly as if this was just another casual chat. Sophia, you've always been so independent on the surface, but let's be real. That lakeside party, it was cute, but without my connections, introducing you to those vendors and Derek calming your nerves, you wouldn't have closed that deal. We were just asking for a fair share. Sign the papers or the gossip about how you pushed us out will spread faster than you can say, ungrateful friend. People in this town value loyalty, you know. Her words landed like calculated jabs, each one reminding me how deeply intertwined our lives had become. I had lent her money for her apartment deposit last year, covered Derek's car repairs when his startup idea flopped, and even let Megan handle parts of my scheduling because she claimed it freed me up for bigger things. Now it felt like every favor had strings attached, strings that were tightening into a noose around my growing independence. I left the shop without signing anything, my chest tight with a mix of anger and disbelief, but the damage was already starting. Mini cliffhanger. That evening, as I reviewed the witness transcript Rachel had given me back at my apartment, my phone buzzed with a group text from a mutual friend in our circle. The message included a screenshot of Megan's latest social media post, vague but pointed, "Some people forget where they came from when success hits. Sad how quickly loyalty disappears." Comments were already piling up from people who knew us both questioning my character. The public whispers had begun. I called Alex Thompson the next morning, my voice shaky as I paced my living room. He was the steady colleague who had joined my consulting firm 6 months ago, bringing fresh ideas and zero drama. "Sophia, this is reputation sabotage 101, he said firmly. "I've seen friends turn on each other in this industry before. Forward me that transcript and any emails. We can get ahead of it. His support felt like the first solid ground I'd found in days, a reminder that not everyone saw me as a resource to exploit. Derek showed up at my door that same afternoon looking sheepish but determined, holding a folder I recognized from the party night. Look, babe, Megan's just being protective. This partnership agreement protects all of us. Your business is blowing up, and we want in to help scale it. He tried to hand me the papers, his tone laced with that same entitled edge. I didn't take them. Instead, I crossed my arms, bitterness sharpening my response. Help scale it, or help yourselves to it. I heard the call, Derek. This isn't partnership, it's a takeover. Get out. He left after a few more weak arguments, but not before muttering something about how I'd regret burning bridges. The isolation hit harder after that. Our shared friends started pulling away, citing drama they didn't want to pick sides in, fueled by Megan's subtle posts and calls. One afternoon at the office, a client even mentioned hearing rumors about my reliability in personal matters, forcing me to smooth things over with extra effort that ate into my work time. Rachel Klein reached out again a few days later, this time with more than just the transcript. As the event coordinator who had worked the lakeside manor party, she had quietly recorded snippets on her phone when she sensed the tension. I didn't want to get involved, but this felt wrong, she said over the phone, her voice steady. Megan was pushing hard on those legal angles. Play the file I sent. The recording captured Megan boasting to someone on the line about how she'd handled Sophia's ego and had Derek's full backing to secure the papers before I could push back. It was damning, the kind of evidence that could shift power if used right. But releasing it risked escalating the gossip into a full-blown public mess. Another mini cliffhanger. I met Alex at a quiet cafe near the office to discuss next steps, the recording playing low on my laptop. Just as we paused it, my phone lit up with an incoming call from Derek. Before I could decide whether to answer a text from Megan popped up. Heard you're digging into old conversations. Careful, Sophia. Friends protect each other or expose each other. The threat hung there, making my pulse race. How deep did this go? The pressure mounted over the following week. Megan's gossip campaign gained traction in our Fargo social and professional circles, with old acquaintances texting me passive jabs about staying humble and not forgetting your roots. Derek alternated between pleading messages and veiled warnings about how my stubbornness was hurting us. I threw myself into work to cope finalizing the expansion plans for my firm, but every meeting felt tainted by the fear that their narrative was sticking. Alex proved invaluable, helping me audit my contracts to ensure no loopholes existed, while Rachel offered to provide a formal witness statement if things went legal. One evening back at the Lakeside Manor for a follow-up client dinner, I had rescheduled there for its impressive setting. I cornered Megan when she unexpectedly showed up claiming she was just checking in as a friend. The opulent room with its large windows overlooking the water felt smaller with her presence. This has to stop, I said, my sarcasm biting through. You're my best friend, or at least you were. Why turn on me like this the moment I succeed? She laughed, that cold sound echoing slightly. Best friend, Sophia, I've carried you for years. Now that you're pulling ahead, you want to leave us behind. The papers are simple insurance. Sign them, or the full story of how you sidelined your own people goes public. Your clients love loyalty. Imagine what they'd think. The conversation escalated her words, laced with long-held resentment about my growing confidence. I refused again, walking away as my mind raced with the recording and transcript as potential shields. But the public exposure was accelerating. By the end of the week, a local networking event turned awkward when several attendees mentioned hearing concerns about my business practices, all tracing back to Megan's circle. Alex pulled me aside afterward. This is getting out of hand. We need to use what Rachel gave us strategically. His calm focus helped steady me, but the betrayal from my closest people left a hollow ache. I had built my life around these relationships, only to watch them weaponize my trust. The ticking tension of what they'd do next kept me on edge every single day. The awkward networking event left me rattled, but I refused to let Megan and Derek see me crack. I drove home through the quiet Fargo streets, the recording from Rachel playing on loop in my mind like a bitter reminder of how easily trust could rot. Alex had been right. This was escalating fast, and I needed to stop reacting and start protecting what I had built. The next morning, I sat at my desk in the small office space I rented downtown, reviewing every contract with fresh eyes. My consulting firm had grown from a solo operation into something with real potential landing steady clients in the regional business scene. But now, thanks to my best friend and boyfriend, that foundation felt shaky under waves of whispered doubts. I met Rachel Klein again at a neutral spot near the lakeside manor, where the winter light reflected coldly off the water. She had become an unexpected anchor, this event coordinator who had simply shown up for a job and ended up witnessing my unraveling circle. "The transcript and recording are solid," she said, sliding a folder across the table. "I typed up a witness statement too, in case you need it for any formal pushback." Megan's words about forcing the partnership. It's all there. Her straightforward support felt genuine, unlike the years of favors that had masked Megan's growing resentment. I thanked her, the sarcasm in my thoughts sharp. At least some people don't see my success as their personal piggy bank. Derek texted relentlessly that afternoon, mixing pleas with threats about how my refusal was destroying our future. I ignored most, but one stood out, a group chat screenshot where Megan had rallied a few of our mutual friends, painting me as the one who had changed and abandoned the people who believed in her. The public gossip was spreading like frost on the lake, turning casual acquaintances cold. Clients started asking cautious questions in meetings, and one even delayed a signature, citing heard some concerns about stability. The reputation hit was real chipping away at the independence I had fought so hard for. Mini cliffhanger. That evening, as I prepared for what I hoped would be a decisive meeting at the Lakeside Manor neutral ground, I had rented again for a client wrap-up. Megan showed up uninvited with Derek in tow. They cornered me on the same wide deck where it all started, the string lights now feeling mocking instead of celebratory. "Time's up, Sophia," Megan said, her voice dripping with that cold sarcasm. "Sign the papers tonight, or by morning, everyone in our circle knows how you stabbed your closest people in the back for your precious little empire." I laughed bitterly, the sound sharp against the quiet water. "Empire, this is my business, built while I covered your rent and listened to your endless complaints, Megan. You're not my best friend anymore. You're a leech with legal papers. And Derek, you proposed to me while plotting this. The only thing I'm signing is the end of this toxic mess." Derek shifted, looking guilty for the first time, but Megan's eyes narrowed. The confrontation peaked as I played Rachel's recording on my phone, her voice echoing clearly in the cold air. Megan's face paled, but she recovered with venom. "That proves nothing. We'll just say you're the unstable one spreading lies." The twist came when Alex arrived unexpectedly, having coordinated with Rachel after I shared details. He stepped onto the deck with printed copies of the witness statement and emails Megan had carelessly sent about the joint venture. "These are going to your shared contacts and a couple key clients if needed," Alex said calmly, his presence a quiet force. "Reputation works both ways. Sophia's built real value here. Yours seems built on taking from her." The public exposure hit. Suddenly, Megan had underestimated how quickly the tables could turn when evidence surfaced. Within hours, our circle started distancing themselves from her and Derek, the gossip reversing, as people saw the full picture of their scheme. The irreversible loss settled in over the following weeks. I protected my firm by sending polite but firm notices to clients, backed by the documentation, and the delayed deals closed. Megan and Derek faced the fallout, mutual friends, pulled away permanently, their own reputations tarnished by the attempted takeover. Derek moved out, his proposal ring returned in a plain envelope. Megan tried one last call, her voice cracking with false vulnerability, but I cut it short. We're done. You chose to betray me the moment my success threatened your control. I choose boundaries. The old support network was gone, a painful but clean break that left me navigating professional circles more cautiously, some opportunities slower to rebuild. Yet in that partial victory, I found a subtle, defiant peace. The lakeside manor, once a site of tension, became a place I visited alone on a quiet afternoon, months later, watching the water, without the weight of their expectations. I had lost the illusion of those close bonds, the easy laughter, of shared history, but I gained clarity and self-respect. Alex and Rachel stayed in my corner, proving chosen connections could be stronger than blood or old friendships. My business stabilized, growing steadily, without the drain of their demands. The lesson hit deep peace, requires strong boundaries, and self-love means walking away even when it costs alliances you thought were forever. Blood or long friendship doesn't entitle anyone to your hard work or peace of mind. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've ever faced a betrayal from someone you trusted most and had to choose yourself over the comfort of old ties, what was your turning point? Share your boundary moment in the comments. I read them, and it helps knowing we're not alone in rebuilding.